here for the Sportsman Legacy Truck Series brought to you by DH Designs. Obviously here at Chicagoland Speedway. Hello, my name is Christian Delgado, your lead producer and commentator for tonight's race. And I'm glad everybody's here bright and early to watch some Truck Series action right here in the Chicago area. Technically in Joliet, Illinois, here for Chicagoland. As you see on the top of your ticker, just over 33 minutes left in practice, and right now, currently your fastest in practice is this number 57 machine of Joseph Stafford, your week 1 winner here at Daytona. So you're going to see him get a little sideways off the 15, off the bumper of the 15, but currently your fastest in practice is that number 57 of Joseph. Josh Stoles in that number 99 machine P2. Cameron Albertson in that 08. We saw him really quick at Legacy Daytona. He's a P3 in practice. Richard Myers in the number 93. Also looks pretty good in practice. I mean, at Daytona last week. He's going to be your P4 driver. And Ryan Taft had a chance to go win at Daytona as well. So everybody who kind of was up there running up front at Daytona, back up here, trying to make something happen at Chicagoland. As we take a little bit of a look at Chicagoland Speedway, it's one of the more, I would say, unique tracks compared to a lot of these mile and a half. And if you look on the right side of your screen, that backstretch is actually not straight. It's actually a little bit, it's kind of like egg-shaped, the whole track. It's not flat like you'd see maybe at a Las Vegas or a Kansas, like we saw tonight in the Cup Series and the Truck Series on Saturday night. There's a little bit of a bend or arc to that corner. We can maybe look at the backstretch right here. Look at this backstretch, Kim. You actually see it really never goes flat here. There's just a little bit of an arc there, and I think it's always something really interesting to talk about with Chicagoland because it just allows the drivers to use a little bit more of the track up, obviously, because it's allowing, instead of, cutting off flat and planar like a lot of these other mile and a halves, it allows these drivers to, go 3 wide out of turn 2 and everything else. You're going to see this driver right here, up here, and rip the wall up here. We'll be seeing a lot more of those shots during the race. Can't wait to show you guys those shots during the race, but we'll go ahead and look at some of your drivers on track. That is Joe Gibbs in that 8 machine. Also was running up front towards the end of that race at Daytona. So you see this 8 machine, this tracker Bass Pro Chevrolet. Now here running a couple of laps before qualifying comes underway. You see on the top of the ticker, just under a minute left now, and until qualifying starts, and we'll see what these drivers can do. And with these trucks, it is kind of one of the easier tracks, I would say, for the drivers. I mean, it's really kind of like a full throttle with some tire wear, so especially on these first couple laps, it's going to be just flat out trying to be aggressive as you can, and then as the run goes on, you're going to see drivers maybe drop to the back or maybe just try to save their stuff a little bit more. You see Joe maybe going in a couple of quali laps, maybe some mock laps. You can see him park that machine back into pit road, but no cars on track right now, so we'll just continue to show you the great sights and sounds of Chicagoland. See those, such a great venue, and unfortunately, NASCAR not being able to come here, in the real life schedule, but obviously we are so lucky to have it in the sim and to still put on some great shows here at Chicagoland Speedway. But with all that said and done, it looks like Joseph Stafford's going to be your fastest in practice with a 30.179. Josh Stoll's right behind him with a 2.8. So we'll see if they can take that practice speed and some of that momentum from last week, bring it into qualifying. Because obviously here at Chicagoland, really at any mile and a half here in the Truck Series, qualifying really does matter a ton. So we'll get ready to get your qualifying started out, and looks like Cameron Albertson's the first one to come out on track. You'll probably see the Cameron kind of run the top here, try to get as much momentum off the top he can to start his first go lap. Get this qualifying ticker up. Nobody and everybody at home can really see what he's doing inside the car. He had to lift a little bit. He actually lifts a little bit as well, going into turn 4. Looks like it's going to be a good outlet for him. We're going to try to take advantage of the pace. Maybe drop down to the bottom here, as you see. And run down, try to paint that white line the best of his ability. Currently, Albertson P2 with that outlet. Joseph Stafford, currently your pole sitter. The 30.5. Out of 3 and 4. Albertson to the line. You're going to see him cut this apron. .321. That's good enough for right now. P2 is Joseph Stafford. Your pole sitter right now with a 229. Michael Deitch out of pit road in that Cube Graphics machine. Michael Deitch always comes out here with some really nice schemes. It's something I always look forward to seeing is what he can come up with here. See this Delaware Life, kind of this, Spire Motorsports inspired machine. See that Cube Graphics Designs logo on the back. Michael will come into turn 1 to start his first lap. You'll see him also run the top. And I think you're going to see basically everybody in the field run the top and try to get a good, kind of up to speed lap. And then that second lap will be that lap that they're going to try to get that time out of. Going to run the top in 3 and 4. Try to arc it down there. Try to get to the bottom. Probably not as low as he probably wanted it to be, but coming at it too. He's about a 10th or 2 faster right now, tracking in the green from his outlap. Michael Deitch with the 30.061. P9. Actually didn't gain any spots from that first lap, so he's going to be P9 for Mr. Deitch. A little over a minute left. I don't see. And now Michael's the only one on track. We'll have a couple cars who still have not yet to settle up. We have Jonathan Ledger sitting in the pits waiting. He's going to go. I don't know if Jonathan's going to have enough time to get 2 full laps in. He might be able to get maybe 1, if that. Just a little bit of blinking out of the 28. And I don't think Jonathan Ledger is going to get a lap in here. See him in that Steam 28. There he goes through the grass, just a little loose. See that Asus steam machine? Jonathan, one of the well-known painters in the crowd, usually does a lot of the schemes and stuff for free for the most part. So I always love what Jonathan qualifying. He's going to take that front row alongside Cameron Albertson in that 08. We'll wait on these drivers to help set those trucks up for the race set, if you want to call it. You can definitely tweak the truck to get a little bit better handling or maybe a little bit more speed for the qualifying lap, and then you can go back and change that truck or the race pace to make it maybe a little bit better for tire wear, a little bit better just handling wise throughout a long run. But with that all said and done, we're gonna go ahead and get your starting lineup here, presented by High Velocity TV. Always pretty quick, regardless of where we go. He's gonna round out row one. Go to Corey Mott, league owner. Good for him to get up here and have a good qualifying spot. And Richard Myers gonna round out row two. Starting in P5, Garth Griswold with Joe Gibbons. Starting in P6. P7, Jim Mott with Ryan Taft gonna round out row four. Row 5, Michael Deitch and Mike Runkle gonna round out that top 10. 11, Austin Runkle with Jonathan Ledger. Josh Stoltz and Alan Phillips gonna round out row number 7, and the complete field is Jay Salmon with Bob Baker in that number 11 machine. Taking a look at your race weather for tonight's race, 73 degrees, really little to no wind, so it's going to be a great night for some mile-and-a-half racing here at Chicagoland. You see some drivers warming up those tires, getting ready to go. You see the lights off on the pace track, which means we will be going green. No delayed, as we only had 16 cars and allowed us to get our pre-race show done beforehand. But just because there's 16 doesn't mean it can't be a good race. But you're going to see a Chevy Toyota front row at 57 at 08. Going to lead us to green. This car's going to take the hard left turn. And we're going to be going Chicagoland Racing 100 laps, and we're green. We gotta turn for this. Cross the stripe. Give it to Joseph Stafford. Everybody, and there's a wreck in the back. Caution's gonna wave. Like Ryan Taft might have got caught up in that. We'll take a look and see what happened on this High Velocity TV replay. Take a look at this 86 machine. Looks like that 76. Oh man, it was that on the bottom. I can't tell. Like that. That is Jim Mott in that number 38. New scheme for him. We'll go back and take a look and see what happened with that 38. I think this drives it down in the corner. That thing does not turn the way he wants. He's going to get up into the 76. Alan Phillips, Ryan Taft, nowhere to go. Looks like not a lot of damage to that 86, luckily. And unfortunately, that 76 takes the brunt of that damage. Jay back there in the 67 looks like gets through it okay. But that will be our first caution tonight. On lap 2, now on lap 4. Cars down pit road. Jonathan Ledger down pit side. As well as this 76. You see, we do have some left side damage from when he pancaked that wall, but definitely could be worse for that driver. Definitely could be a lot worse. Go back up here. Obviously, Joseph Stafford has led every lap here as we got that early caution. Had a good restart for that 57 machine. Joseph is, starting to maybe look like he can be a favorite for the championship. Obviously, won in week 1 at Gateway. Looked pretty competitive at Daytona. Obviously, Daytona's a beast in its own right when it comes to, running those style of tracks, right? But he was still up there, pretty competitive. And Corey Mott with a good run. Hasn't had the best couple of weeks to start off this Sportsman Truck Series, but now looks better than ever. The lights up on the pace truck, which means we'll be going green this time. Everybody's still on the lead lap despite, some of that wrecking in the back. We see some guys trying to catch back up. That's Alan Phillips and Jay Salmon trying to get back up to the pack. Before we go green here, I think they'll easily get back there. You see Mott catching back up to the back half of the field. Once again, have a Chevy Toyota front row, but flip that 08 and the 15. The 15 is going to take that P2 position. And we're going to let this 57 lead us right back to green here at Chicagoland. Pretty good jump out of the 57, but the 15 still trying to stay on that side by side with that P2 position. Going to get a little bit of a run out of the corner. Not enough to get to that 57, but side by side for the P2 spot. Side by side for that P4 position. That's the 08. 15's going to get clear, going to secure that P2 position, but the 08 still trying to grind that top. Ooh, the double zero is going to shut his nose off. You're going to see that a lot at the starts of these races. Is, with everybody going flat out, they can really push as hard as they want, try to get this track position while they can, and then you'll start to see trucks kind of settle in, find their pace, try to save some tire so they can maybe drive up to maybe get back to that leader. That 57 already starting to pull away a little bit. About a 7/10 advantage over your P2 driver of Corey Mott. Corey's already starting to get some pressure from this double zero over Griswold. He was that second through sixth place, all under a blanket here. Joe Gibbons at the back of this pack, just trying to hold on, trying to keep a little bit of that draft, but try not to push his stuff a little bit too hard this time. I don't really mind Joe for doing this kind of strat. Just if he gets the chance, he might try to make it pass, but I don't mind him just kind of sitting back there in that 6th place, trying to save his stuff. I honestly think that's kind of what Corey's doing as well. I know that Garth and Corey, talk a lot. Obviously, Garth, one of the league admins for this. But I guarantee you, Corey's trying to just tell him, hey, I'm trying to save my stuff. So, oh, wow, 2 cars pancaked the outside wall behind them. The 93, no, wait, the 93 is going to lose a bunch of time, and he's going to hook the 07. Caution's going to wave. Whoa, look at everybody. Michael Deitch goes around off the nose of the 93 Richard Myers after he pancakes the wall. This 07 machine. That's what happens sometimes. Michael biding his time right there. You see that 28 of Jonathan Ledger right in front of him. And it looks like he actually comes down the track a little bit as the 93 is trying to come up. They're trying to merge back up the track. Unfortunately makes contact. Going to get spun around, and that will definitely be a caution. The pit road open up. We're going to see a bunch of your race leaders come down here and probably top off on fuel. The only thing I could think of, if we're in 13 laps, if it were me, I don't think I would think that 13 laps is enough to take a set of. Probably going to 00 of Garth, Joe Gibbons, Austin Runkle, Bob Baker, and Ryan Taft. They all decided to stay out. Ryan did pit during that first caution that came out. Obviously, he was involved, so that's a little bit more fuel. Then the 4 in front of him. So he'll start in that P5 position. See the 08 in that 4 shot coming out of pit road. Side, but we saw this during Gateway, and it was at nighttime where like some of these schemes kind of almost look like they were glowing in a way. We see that with the 86. Maybe remember, I guess that could be good luck, because you know, at Gateway when that was happening to 57, he went on to win that race. So maybe some good luck for that 86 having that visual bug, if you want to call it that. Lights off on the pace car. He's going to take the hard left turn on the pit road. And for the first time this race, we're going to have a Chevy front row as you see the 00 and that 8 of Joe Gibbons going to lead us back to green. Great jump out of the 00. Garth with a good restart. Joe Gibbons maybe got caught sleeping a little bit. The Austin Runkle, he's going to take with that P3 spot. And you see the 15 super upset. What a save by Corey Ma. We're going to go back and take a look and see what happened between that. Gets into the back of the 11. 11 just really slow on that restart. You see son and father make contact. That's the 2 Mott households making contact. And you can see that 15 drop to the back. All the way back to 11th place. Corey, we knew was quick, sitting there in that P2 spot before he came down pit road. Now he's going to have to climb his way back to the field. No, we've seen it happen. And look at what we saw what Josh Perry do today at Kansas in the a NASCAR Cup Series. Had to start from the back several times, drove his way through the field. See if Corey can do the same thing. Got to see him making a 3 wide move, going to make that move work. I'm going to go chase down his dad in that 38 machine of Jim Mott. And this is probably the best racing you're going to see right now is back here right inside the top 10. Everybody up in front, single file. Out of 57 looking underneath the 38. He's going to make that pass work. Joseph Stafford trying to make his way up through the field once again. Remember, your race leader until he came down pit road. So you know he's going to be quick and going to try to be aggressive to get through the field. Remember, he took a fresh set of Goodyear tires this last stop as well. Maybe a little early for a lot. The 8 of Joe Gibbons underneath the 00 of Garth Griswold. And look at that, 86 of Ryan Taft. Going to try to follow that 08 as well. A little upset for both the 00 and the 86. But here comes the 00 with the runoff. That 00 takes the lead back from the 8 machine. Now Joe under fire from the 86. Saw that battle, and that's allowed Michael Deitch to climb up here into this top 4. Start to run down these race leaders. Oh, the double zero. Cuts the nose off of the 86. 86 cuts him a break. But with all this hard racing, now look at this. You have the 07 of Michael Deitch. You now have the 76 of Alan Phillips back here. That has caught this. And that 08 drops all the way back. Everybody's trying to drop it. And now the top 6 under a blanket. Maybe Michael Deitch decides to back out of it. Does not want to do it. You see the 76 into the wall. And they go down side, drop the double. Ryan Taft takes your race lead. This is exactly what he wants to see in his review. Take advantage of that mistake. Side by side at the line. Give it to the 76. Ooh, a little upset for the 86. He's going to slide down the track. I'm going to be side by side going to 3 and 4 once again. Now give the bottom to the 86, the top to the 76. Joseph Stafford on those new tires have already driven up here inside the top 5. Now give him that P3 position. Oh, both guys make a mistake. Doran down the backstretch. The apron side by side with the 86. And I think he took the lead with that move. Give it to him at the line. And you see him probably drive around these two. So that 86 and 76 not driving the way he wants to. And look at that. Oh, once again, contact between those two. Wow. Hard racing for that P2 position now. Right, Taft's going to get a take advantage. Michael Deitch from wrecked to that second place. What a drive through the field for him. That 76 get up. Gonna maintain that 3P position, but that double zero all over the back tailgate. Gonna look on the inside. That 76 holding tough on the top. Gonna get a run out. Side by side at the line. Double zero is gonna take it. That 76 not going to give up. Going to try to run that top lane again. Get a good run out as compared to the bottom. 76 going to clear. Not quite. Side by side for the 3P position. And we have side by side for the P5 back here. That's Joe Gibbons and Ryan Taft. Ryan Taft falling back a little bit after making that contact with the wall. And the 76 machine. See, Ryan really dedicated to running that upper line. I'm going to clear Joe Gibbons for that P5 position, but still side by side. This double zero and this 76 will not give up on this position. And talking about tire saving. I feel like with that 76 trying to make this pass, he's using up his stuff trying to run the top. The bottom is the tire saving line here, especially in these trucks. Still no give in these two. Finally, the double zero will clear that 76 for the P3 position. Maybe he can get away. Here we go, catch that 07 machine from Michael Deitch. But Joseph Stafford has ran away from the field. Almost a 2.5 second lead over Michael Deitch in this P2 position. Just saw the Garth Griswold take over that P3 spot from the 76 who runs in P4. Joe Gibbons runs out your top 5. Ryan Taft in the 86 going to be your P6 driver. Austin Runkle up here in the top 7. He's been here in the top 10 early the whole race. Bob Baker in that number 11 machine. Good to see him running in the top 10. did not have a good run at Daytona. I felt like just got caught up in every little incident he could at Legacy, the number 76 machine. He's going to be in that P9 position. Corey Mott, P10, after that incident on the restart. Forced him to lose a bunch of track position. Jim Mott back there in P11. Jonathan Ledger, P12. You see him, up into the wall. And the Mike Runkle, P13, after causing that last caution. Richard Myers actually in P13 now. My apologies. Mike Runkle is P13. Richard Myers one lap down in 14th. Cameron Albertson looks quick, but not on the track right now. Looks like took that car to the garage. Maybe called it early for the night. Currently 3 laps down in that P15 position. Stretch that gap out to almost 3 seconds. So, Michael Deitch still running somewhat competitive lap times to Joseph. With those fresh tires, I expected him to pull the gap out a little bit more. Now, just a tick over 3 seconds gap to that 07 machine. But still, I expected this 57 to start to really pull away with those fresh Goodyear tires. But, no, Michael Deitch only running about a 10th slower lap on those older tires. Well, Michael Deitch might have actually taken tires. 14, yeah, I believe Michael Deitch did take tires. Joseph almost a second lead. Actually, now a little over a second lead on P3 of Garth Griswold. And this is something you have to look out for. Garth is sitting here in P3 and is, running somewhat relatively decent pace. Caution, just pacing around, but good for that 0-0, saving the set here. And if he gets a caution, he's really going to be at a good spot where he saved the set. But with how everybody's spread out right now the closest battle on track to each other, so I feel it might be a little bit hard to get a caution unless someone makes a mistake, maybe gets up into the wall. And 14 cars on the track right now, and everybody kind of separated from each other. See that? Oh wait, you see that A-Machine really catching the 76 at a rapid pace. See Joe gonna rip that wall. Man, inches away from that wall there. And I'm starting to run down 76. Be a good run off the corner. Gonna try to do the slide job maneuver, and he's gonna make it work. Oh, he's gonna get tight though. He has to get out of the gas. Here comes the 76 back. Crossover move for the 76. He's gonna clear the the 8 once again. Some good racing for this P4 position. I think that 8 has a little bit of a better truck. Just didn't approach the corner in that last lap the way he probably needed to. You see him all over the tailgate once again. You see the 76 trying to take the line away that Joe was trying to run to get around him. Joe's going to have to find a different lane if he wants to get around the 76. I'm starting to see Joe actually start to fall back a little bit. He got that line taken away from him. That 76 started to run the wall, and the 8 just had nothing for him. Seeing some battles start to heat up. Bob Baker getting ran down by Jay Salmon. We're starting to get into that range where green flag pit stops are going to have to start coming in. Garth with 42 laps on his tires. I don't know how much longer he can go on fuel. I say he can maybe go more, maybe at most 5 more laps, and he's going to have to come down pit road. Jay trying to do something with this 11, just cannot make it work. Just cannot get around this machine. You know, Ryan Taft's trying to put fire underneath the 8. We have a little 3-car pack here. Ryan found what he needed underneath that 86 machine. Starting to run down these guys a little bit. Maybe saved his tires just a little bit better than the 2 in front. See Ryan running to top. Once again. You see him try to slide up in front of the 8, and he's going to make that pass work. I don't think the 8's going to fight him that hard. Oh, he gets into the wall. He's going to have to do something. Looks like he lets off, gives Ryan a break here. Not the first time Ryan Taft has tried to rip the wall and got into it, right? And that 8's going to repass the 86. Now Ryan's going to have to make another crack at this. So now we have really 2 good battles right now for the P5 and the P7 position. Ryan Taft once again looking underneath the 8. He's going to clear him this time. Michael Deitch got passed for the P2 position by Garth. So what a drive for Garth with older tires to get around Michael Deitch. Maybe Michael had a mistake. See if we can find any damage on this 07 machine. You do see a little bit of a scuffing on the door there. Maybe some contact between him and the 00. Maybe that's some residual damage from him in that 93 wreck. Let's see if we can see this right side car once he comes past the camera. Yeah, really no damage. Michael just starting to lose touch. I'm looking at Garth right here. It's got to be inevitable until he has to come down pit road. Is not pitted once this race. And here he comes down pit road. He's going to split this race in half. Our first taker down pit side. 00's down pit road. There's Bob Baker. Oh! Had a mistake coming down. Just tried to... Yeah, just overcooked entry. Overshot it. See that 00. Left side's up on there. He's going to make his way back on to the racetrack. Back up to your race leader, though. He has a 11-second gap to the P2 driver. Obviously, green flag pit stops have started for some drivers. Joseph can, you know, really pit, I feel like, whenever he wants, but, you know, I don't know how much fuel that these drivers have in the tanks. I don't know if... Looked like to me, some of those drivers just tried to split the race in half. I don't know how much longer they could have gone on fuel, but, at the very least, he's on, you know, 39 laps, on, coming to 40 laps on these tires, so he could go, you know, at least another 10. So, and he's still continuing the gap P2 of Alan Phillips. Now Ryan Taft up to the P3 position. Now, I'm interested to see how this strategy comes, because obviously we now know that for the most, I'm pretty sure now that means that Garth is good on fuel, so he can make it to the end. So when does, the top five come down pit side? And how does this tire wear affect, whether, Garth can take advantage here? I mean, he was the first one down pit road. Obviously, you see him, he's pushing this truck as hard as he can right now. And right now, almost a second quicker than your race leader a lap. So he just ran a 30.6. And Joseph Stafford just ran a 31.9. So over a second quicker now than your race leader. Not only that, he stays on the lead lap. No, he does not. He is a 1 lap down. I'm looking at your track map right now. It looks like Ryan Taft down pit road. Still see. But Ryan Taft 2 laps down. He had a 1:02 stop. Maybe he had the. So, ooh, super loose. Cold tires are going to do that. So depending on when this 57 wants to come down pit road, that's going to really dictate whether Garth Griswold will take the lead here. He is your, leader out of the guys who have pit. Michael Deitch back there, almost 9 seconds behind the 00. I don't know what happened to that 07 down pit side. But lost a lot of time down pit road. Alan Phillips down pit road on lap 59. '57 down pit road now on lap 60. So he went about 46 laps on that stint. And I had a feeling this was around how long you could actually go on a tank of fuel. Remember, what we documented that your 00 went 50 laps, just to put it in half. Remember, we did have those caution laps. That probably did help him save, probably about 5 laps of fuel if he was really concerned about saving to get to halfway. I definitely think he could have done it. But I think I'm happy that I was right, that I thought it was about 45 laps that you could go. And now where does this 57 come out? Here comes a 57 now. There's the 00. He's going to actually go around him. 00 with 10 lap oldie tires, though. Did he do a good job saving them? He does have the buffer of Jonathan Ledger right there in the P9 position to hold up that 57 potentially, depending on where he catches him and what line that Jonathan decides to run. Really, Jonathan's keeping pretty decent pace. Gonna catch him probably in the best place possible. See the 80-28, gonna be courteous, give him the bottom. Man, yeah, I don't know what. I mean, he's running down this 00 pretty quick. We'll take a look at the lap times. A 35 to a 31.2. That's not gonna cut it. Garth's going to do everything in his power to keep him behind him now. We know he's not going to just let him go. Garth did everything he could, but just like that, 57's going to take the lead back. Yeah, I think Garth did everything he could. Remember, I mean, he just had to do a different pit strategy because he didn't pit, right? He had to pit earlier. And when you pit early, you obviously have to use up the tires a little bit more, right? Compared to, you know, Joseph, which had, not only does he have fresher tires, when he came down Perry Road, he had gapped the 00 by what? 7-8 seconds. So that buffer really did help. Right? If maybe the 00 was within a second or two, I think this race would have been a different story, right? Because if Garth was within striking distance the whole time, I think Garth probably comes out with a 5-6 second lead. But because Joseph had that advantage, he came out basically side by, right on the tailpipes of that 00 and just was able to drive right by him. And with all this green flag pit stops, there's really no balance for position right now. The two closest drivers, Joe Gibbons, Michael Deitch, P3 and P4. See them in the same camera shot. See Michael up 5 spots. Alan Phillips in that 76, he's up 8 positions. Jay Salmon up 7. And now your biggest loser, Richard Myers, down 8 positions. 2 laps down. Not the race that he probably expected to have. He's up into the wall once again. The closest battle on track once again is this 07 trying to run down the 80 machine. Both pitted, I think, on the same lap. 16 laps on those tires. Michael with a slightly better pit stop. Trying to run down this 8 in front. So we're approaching, 30 to go here. So with that, we're going to go HVTV side by side, and we're going to let our partners over at iRacing talk to you about their product.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Chicagoland Speedway. As you see your top 5 on track. Stafford, Griswold, Gibbons, Phillips, and Deitch. Your top 5 after 74 complete. Going to 25 laps to go. And the 57 of Stafford continues to lead. Almost a 12-second gap to the P2 driver, Griswold. Let's run through your field. Joe Gibbons at P3. With Alan Phillips in P4. Michael Deitch running out your top 5. Corey Mott, P6 back there. Good recovery for him. Jonathan Ledger, the top 10, running here in the P7 position. Jonathan Ledger also 1 lap down, along with Ryan Taft, P8. 1 lap down, Jim Mott, as well as Bob Baker in 10th. Jay Salmon in 11th. Richard Myers back there in P12, 2 laps down. Austin Runkle, 3 laps down with his dad. Mike, 9 laps down. You still see him sitting in pit road. You see Cook blinking in and out. So without a caution right now, only 6 trucks on the lead lap, and there you see Corey Mott in the 4 shot. He's really in contention of going a lap down himself. You see, I mean, that gray truck in the background, he's trying to hunt down this 15. Ooh, Bob Baker really upset. Corey's going to do everything he can to stay in front, but he does have slightly fresher tires. Michael Deitch going to get past you. So now Michael Deitch now going to be trying to fight to stay on the lead lap. I don't know if there was something that happened in this 07, but he just, the rails have fallen off this, the 07 train was up there and in the P2 spot. I don't really see a lot of damage on this truck. And, you know, he was running up in second, now dropped back down to 6th, and you already see that 57 in the background. I don't think he's going to have any fight for this 57 machine. And he's going to easily get around 07. Michael Deitch now a lap down. Joseph's next target is that number 15 up the road of Corey Mott, your league owner. See that truck up the road there? Corey chasing down his dad right now. And Jim. Jim already a lap down on his own. See Corey make the pass on the top, get around Jim. Jay Salmon down pit road. Once again. 20 to go. We'll probably put him another lap down, put him down to 3, and it will. Besides, oh, my truck's not going to run very good. Might as well just come down, take a set of tires, and try to do what you can, right? Obviously, 3 laps down, you're not really going to be able to recover from 3 laps down. With how many people are a lap down, and really with how many laps to go, you're not going to be able to unlap yourself 3 times. So, with 19 to go, I don't really see him, you know, unlapping himself 3 times. So, if he wants to come down, take 4 fresh Goodyear tires, and at least run this thing out, have a good ending, then I don't really blame him. But with 18 to go, coming to 17 to go, it's really the Joseph Stafford show. Remember, he won the season opener at Gateway. Came out there, ran really well at Daytona in week 2, where we had Jeff Perchatsky in the booth. And now coming out here, and he's really dominated this whole race. You know, took that strategy to come down, take 4 fresh tires on that caution, drove through the field. You know, went and got a, you know, a 11-second lead. Forced everybody behind him to pit before he did, came down. And now has a 23-second lead on Garth Griswold, who's coming down pit road. He's gonna pit from that second position. He will also go a lap down. Now only 4 cars on the lead lap after Garth decides to come down. Take some 4 fresh Goodyear tires. Before you deal it, take a look back at Corey Mott, sitting in P4. 23 laps on those tires, so a little bit fresher tires than even your race leader. So I don't see Corey coming down pit road at all. So he might actually get a good finish just from strategy. Obviously, after that contact on the restart, hasn't had the pace that we thought he would. But really, no one's had the pace for that 57 machine. And Joe Gibbons just up the road here. You can maybe go down and run down this number 8 machine. Joe has about 11 lap older tires than Corey. And you see this 57 continuing just lap cars, put him more laps down. Obviously, you see him passing 93. He's already 2 laps down. He's gonna go 3 this lap here. Corey Mott gets around Joe Gibbons. And Joe Gibbons comes down pit road. So he comes down 36 lap stint for that number 8 machine. And he's going to come down, get some fresh tires, top off on some Sunoco race fuel. And take that machine back out as well. So that's going to put this 15 up to a podium position. And he's actually almost in striking distance of Alan Phillips up here in the 76. And we might see the impossible happen here. Joseph Stafford is in contention of lapping the whole entire field. You see that black truck running the bottom there? That's Corey Mott. Corey is running a little bit faster than your race leader, actually. About a 10th quicker that lap. I think Corey maybe knows that he's got to go if he doesn't want to go a lap down. He's actually starting to run down your P2 driver of the 76 of Alan Phillips. Phillips is really, his lap times have really fallen off. I mean, Corey's almost a half a second quicker lap now. I think the 76 is just trying to ride along, trying to just get the best finish he can. You see a lot of right front damage. I don't know if maybe he smacked the wall recently. But you see that right side all completely tore up. And that might be why he's going as slow as he is. Corey Mott has that P2 site, a P2 spot in sight. I don't think there's going to be anything that's going to keep this away from him. He's really rolling right now, running competitive lap times even to the leader, only a 10th off of Joseph in that number 57 machine. I don't know if Joseph's going to have the time to get to Corey. Corey's kind of stepped up his lap times a little bit with 8 to go. Corey's having a hard time getting around the 76, so it's really slowed him up a lot. But he's going to make the pass for P2 and give that 15 that the second position with 8 to go. I mean, there is the 57 right there. I mean, he's not far behind these guys. You go to a different camera shot, you can probably see this 76 start to come to the camera shot. See him right there. Bottom of your screen. You see him on the left side. And it's getting close enough that I mean, we can go back to the nose cam for Joseph. I don't know how hard Joseph's gonna push to get there. I mean, he's got everybody but these two guys a lap down. So maybe he wants to say that he lapped the whole field. That's a pretty cool achievement. But with 6 to go, he's still pushing. About a tenth of a lap quicker than your P2 driver Corey Mott, and about half a second quicker than the 76. So I don't think he'll have a problem getting around Alan Phillips here in the 76 machine. The wheels have kind of fallen off this truck as well towards the latter half of this race. But he's gonna probably get a podium off of track position and strategy because he hasn't pit. Everybody else behind has come down, taken 4 fresh tires, and not been able to get back to the 57 to unlap themselves. But with 5 to go, I don't think anybody's going to get to 57. Michael Deitch coming out of 3 and 4 now versus your race leader. Who exiting out of 2, and he got super upset out of there trying to get to the 76 machine. You should just see how hard he fights this 57, because and there's 3 to go. Anything can happen, right? And if he stays on the lead lap, that would be huge if a caution would come out. 57's going to elect the top. '76 is not letting him go, but he will make the pass. With 3 to go, I don't think he's going to get the Corey Mott. Now coming to 2 to go for the 57. I mean, what a dominating performance for Joseph. I mean, when it came out, won at Gateway, ran really well at Daytona, and now we can look at these laps led. 84 of the 99 completed. It's going to be 85 of 100. White flag out in the air. I mean, that's just what a performance. I mean, he's going to come out and he's going to lap everybody but the P2 driver. I mean, by far the fastest truck of the race. Coming out of 3 and 4. Go ahead and give it to him. Joe Gibbons going to come out here and dominate at Chicagoland. What a performance from this 57 machine. And already showing that he's right now the favorite to go out there and win this championship. Corey Mott with the P2, good result, good comeback for him after getting caught up in all that mess towards the end. In that restart. Alan Phillips comes back to a top 3, up 11 positions. Let's see this 57 burn it down here. The start finish line. So you can park that thing right in victory lane here at Chicagoland, and we'll get ready to talk to your top three. We'll see if we can grab your third place finisher of Alan Phillips. We'll see if we can grab him. Hey, Alan, it's Christian up here in the HVTV booth. You got a copy?
I do.
Well, definitely, I would say a less eventful race than what we saw at Daytona last week, but it's nice to see fuel strategy kind of just a tire strategy race kind of come into the play here for once here in the Sportsman Truck Series. But walk me through the race and walk me through, what was your mindset to get here to this P3 finish?
Well, I got turned on lap 2 or 3, whatever it was, and I expected a lot more damage, but I got most of it fixed and took tires there early. That got me back up to the front, and then it was a green flag from there. So it was just, I knew when we pit at lap 13 or 14, we could one stop it, and everybody else didn't. So it was just more or less manage the tires and finish the race. So yeah, it was all strategy based. I don't even think I was a top 3 fastest car. It just the pit stop worked in my favor. But
And we noticed that, a bunch of guys who we thought were going to battle for the, you know, potentially for that P2 spot. I don't think anybody was going to touch that 57. Came down and topped off on fuel and everything else. It came down and took tires while you and Corey, stayed out on track to keep the track position. Obviously, it seemed like no one was going to, come back and unlap themselves with how many few laps were left from everybody that did come down and pit.
yeah, I mean, as soon as it was running green that long, and we got through the first set of green flag stops, as long as there wasn't a caution, it was just going to be me and Corey duking it out for second. So I'll take a P3 after not finishing a race so far. But
Yeah, I mean, nothing to complain about finishing P3, and especially, I don't like we talked about earlier. I don't think anybody was gonna touch 57. He seemed pretty lights out all race, but you and Corey
for sure.
battling out for that P2 spot. Can't complain about that, especially looking at the points, right? With only 8 races here, you really have to string together like good finishes. You can't really afford to have a bad race with how many few races are on the schedule. So must feel good to come out here with a decent points finish.
For sure. Hopefully we can get a little higher up in the standings.
I definitely agree. This will definitely help bump you up there. But before we let you go, anybody you want to thank for this P3 finish? Any friends or family watching at home? Any sponsors you'd like to shout out, or just anybody you'd like to thank for this P3 finish?
Not not really. I just appreciate no cautions there at the end. I'll thank everybody for not wrecking during the green flag red.
There we have it. I mean, yeah, obviously everybody up here in the broadcast booth definitely also likes the green flag racing. Obviously Daytona kind of came down to who could make it through the wreck. So we definitely also appreciate the no wrecks there. But we'll definitely drag you back up and let you rest up and get prepared for your next race. I think we have an off week. I'm not sure, but once again, congratulations on this P3 finish, and hopefully we can talk to you sooner or later.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yep. Have a great rest of the night. That was your P3 finisher of Alan Phillips. First car lap down. I mean, that just has to test how dominating that 70, that 57 was. But let's go ahead and talk to the boss man as well. Your P2 finisher. Let's go ahead and talk to Corey Mott. Hey, Corey, it's Christian up here in the HVTV booth. You got a copy?
I got a copy.
Yeah, finally getting to talk to you up here in the podium spot for once. So
Yeah, I got killed the first 2 weeks. That was uncool.
yeah, but a very uneventful race compared to what we saw last week at Daytona with the cautions. Obviously, that's how Daytona's going to work, But walk me through your race. Walk me through that strategy and that call to stay out versus everybody else who had to come down and maybe take a gamble coming down and taking tires.
Yeah, so how it worked was on that second caution, a bunch of us came down and took fuel only, and then Stafford took tires. So that's why he was so far ahead of everyone, because everybody else was anticipating there to be more cautions throughout the night. So we expected to be able to use a set late. So we kept our first set of tires on, just took gas to make it a one stopper from the like lap 13 or whatever. Then we just split it in half the rest of the way. But Stafford also did that and took tires. So he had basically a half of a track lead on us to begin with, plus his skill level. It was insurmountable, but I thought I ran really good, and I had a really fun time. That is a really, really fun track and car combo. So, it was really fun. I liked it. It was a really heavy strategy race, which is really nice. You really had to be consistent and be the fastest on the long run. And I was able to work my way back from like 10th place on the first run all the way up to second. So yeah, it was a really good race. Really, really fun. Lots of strategy. So
I definitely agree. It was fun to watch here in the booth, and yeah, it says something that you were the only car to finish on the lead lap. So it says something with, you being able to at least stay in front of that 57 to stay on the lead lap. So something to keep your head up about. But yeah, it was definitely a surprise to see, a long green flag run. Obviously, we love to see that up here in the broadcast booth, but and it was fun to see, how the pit strategy came out. Obviously, what surprised me to see is so many people come down and take tires that late in the race. But I think, in my opinion,
they ran out of gas, so because they didn't pit beforehand, so they basically had to try and take that other set. So there was two levels of strategy. I don't know. The more I race long races like that with little interruption, the more I hate stage racing being implemented in NASCAR. I really like, when things play out long and you actually have to thinking about when you're taking your tires and when you're pitting and when you're not. And so it was fun. It was a good time. Varying strategy for sure. Keeps your mind at it for once, because we have so many races nowadays that it's just split the stage in half and then split the last portion of the race in half, and then that's the race, So it's nice to have not only to worry about like when to pit and how to pit, but like also doing it under green flag is a skill that is very rare these days as well, especially in iRacing with the shorter racing. So, but yeah, I had a good time.
I definitely agree. It's a welcoming sight to see, a non-stage racing league, especially up here in the broadcast booth. But before we let you go, I know there's probably some people you want to shout out for this P2 finish. So I'll hand the floor over to you to give out your shout outs and thank whoever you need to for this P2 finish.
Yeah, just thanks everyone for coming out. It's a fun time. Thanks you for broadcasting as always. We got 3 weeks off now with the 3 NASCAR night races coming up, with the All-Star race, the Cook 600, and the Nashville night race. So we'll have a little bit of a break, and then we'll have a little bit of a midsummer stretch, and then we'll finish it off after that, and it'll be fun. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, well, I appreciate the kind words, and we'll go ahead and drag you back to rest up for these few couple weeks, and hopefully we can talk to you again up here, maybe in Victory Lane when we come back.
Absolutely. Have a good one.
Yep, you too. That was your boss man, Corey Mott. P2 finish. Glad to see him up here, up at the podium. I've raced with Corey for a long time and raced in this league for a little bit, and he's always been a fast driver, just never could put the finishes together. So really happy to see Corey up here, running well up here in the Sportsman Truck Series. But I guess it's time to talk to the man of the hour, Joe Stafford, Mr. Unbeatable. But let's go ahead and talk to him. Hey Joe, it's Christian up here in the broadcast in HPTV broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, got a copy.
Well, came out here and won at Gateway, and you kind of said that, that was the one you weren't really enthusiastic about running. So, I always had that in the back of my mind, thinking like, well, that's his worst track. He's probably going to be a pretty big threat, everywhere else. And you really showed it today. Had a little bit of a different strategy while everybody else came down and, took fuel only on that caution. You came down, took tires, and really drove through the field. And I felt like after that, it was kind of end game for everybody else, because obviously, it went green from there on, and when everybody else had to pit, you already had, an 11, I think it was a 11 or 12-second gap on P2, and really when you get those types of gaps, it really allows you to kind of dictate how the race goes on from there.
Yeah, it really played out the perfect way it really could have. And any other way would have hurt me a lot. And I think Corey would have probably beat me there if we got a caution. Um, but yeah, it all worked out. I didn't really plan for it to work out like that. I thought I was kind of burning myself taking tires with only 11 laps in. But yeah, it worked out. Everyone really raced very well tonight, and hopefully it's a good break for everyone. I wish Josh Stoltz was around. He was fast. He was in practice. I don't know what happened, but hopefully everything's good with him. Cameron Albertson was another fast one tonight. Garth was up there. He's very quick. He's always quick. Ryan Taft, another one. Everyone's really good drivers, and yeah, they showcased it tonight. We had very long runs.
We saw, while everybody was stacked up before you kind of drove through the field, we saw a lot of battling for the lead between, we saw the 00 and the 07 and Ryan back up there. Joe was up there as well, battling for that lead. And yeah, I hope that everyth's good with Josh. We made him the thumbnail for tonight's race because we expected him to be up there running up front. Unfortunately, didn't get a race tonight, so hope the best for him. But yeah, when it comes to you, really when you took that lead away again, never give it back up, and was able to just cruise around. I mean, it's pretty rare when you see someone came up and lapped everybody but that P2 position.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I was just trying to put in nice consistent laps and keep the tires under me, and everything worked out. I think that pit stop and how the rest of the race went really worked in my favor, and if it went any other way, it would have been a closer race and a better race for the viewers. But nonetheless, I hope there was good racing behind me, and people enjoyed it, and you enjoyed broadcasting it. Thank you for broadcasting it, by the way.
Yeah, obviously, it's my pleasure. I know I wouldn't be here broadcasting if you guys weren't out here putting on a show for the fans at home. So honestly, it's a big honor to be here. Broadcasting for you guys. Obviously, I used to race back in the day here for VRS and back when it was the show and stuff. So it's pretty surreal to be up here in the broadcast booth calling races for you guys every week. So, but yeah, before we let you go, is there anybody else you want to shout out for this win here tonight at Chicagoland?
Yeah, I want to dedicate this one to my mom. It's Mother's Day, and she's the best mom in the world. Shout out to my dad and my friends, and shout out to Chester Water Authority.
Obviously, can't forget about Mother's Day, and yeah, we're gonna give a huge shout out to all the moms out there while we wrap up the stream.
Yeah, all the moms.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So no one could do without anybody, without the moms. So everybody
right.
watching, we all appreciate you guys. So, but as you said, we got a 3-week break, so I guess good luck to you in the next 3 weeks, and hopefully we can talk to you back here in Victory Lane.
Yeah, thank you. Enjoy the real racing in real life. It's gonna be a fun one.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Have a good rest of the night, man.
Yeah, you too, man.
That was Joe Stafford, your winner here at Chicagoland, and like we said, what a dominating performance that Joe put on for tonight. It's just you don't really see that a lot. Someone coming out and lapping everybody but P2. I mean, it's still shocking that they say it out loud. But let's go ahead and look at your unofficial race results brought to you by High Velocity TV. Obviously, we talked to race winner of Joe Stafford. Really cool to see him in victory lane again. Corey Mott P2. Good to see him up, in the podium rung. Alan Phillips P3. Garth Griswold P4. Michael Deitch recovers to a P5. In the first car and the last car, on that strategy. Ryan Taft will finish P6, 2 laps down alongside with Joe Gibbons, Jim Mott in 7th and 8th. P9, Jonathan Ledger and Richard Myers rounding out the top 10, both of them 3 laps down. Alongside 3 laps down, Bob Baker in that P11 position, Mike Runkle, Austin Runkle, Jay Salmon, Cameron Albertson, and Josh Stoltz will round out your field here at Chicagoland. But, Joe kind of gave out a little bit of surprise, but, obviously we want to give a huge Mother's Day shout out to everybody watching at home. Make sure to go, even if you text your mom and say, hey, happy Mother's Day. I appreciate everything you do, because obviously we couldn't do without mom. As an older, right? Obviously, I still talk to my mother all the time, and it shows to everybody else, right? I say this all the time. You might have some hiccups and some disagreements with your parents or your mom or something, but that's family, and you always have to put family first, regardless of what happens. And obviously, for the most part, right? A lot of us wouldn't be where we are without our parents supporting us through everything that we do. So, happy Mother's Day to everybody. And once again, my name is Christian Delgado, your lead producer and commentator for tonight's race for Chicagoland here for the Sportsman Truck Series. Thank you to TH Designs for putting their name on here and sponsoring this league. It's really cool that all the guys over at Crown Jewel could kind of whip this together while they figure out future plans for the league and the series. So, once again, guys, I hope everybody has a great rest of their Sunday night. Enjoy, the next spectacle of racing. It's a really exciting time where with the triple crown jewel kind of thing, with the Monaco and the Indy 500 and the Coke 600 coming up in a couple weeks. Obviously we have the All-Star race this next week. So we will be off for, I think Corey said 3 weeks. So we'll be back here in a couple weeks to continue the Sportsman Legacy Truck Series. But besides that, guys, I hope everybody has a great rest of their Sunday, and you've watched the production from the High Velocity TV here at Chicagoland. Hope everybody has a great rest of the night, and we'll see you guys later.